We are live. Welcome, everybody.
Yay. Hello.
Hello.
Today we are continuing session 2 of our GURPS Dune campaign, which is not at all timed with the movie, purely coincidental. So, first order of business. Does anyone have any points that they wish to spend, or have they made changes to the character under the pre-session chop and change rule?
I would like to pick up and drop a point into the shield penetrating technique for Tansen.
I wonder if anybody didn't do that.
I didn't do it at start, so I figured I probably should, considering heir to a house should know how to pierce a shield.
Well, you can pierce a shield. It's just normally a penalty. The technique just gives you, lets you pay off that penalty.
Which I very much enjoy.
Yeah, that's fine. All changes to characters are good. You don't need to use skills or have used skills that can spend points. At least for this session and the next session.
Spent 1 point in climbing, and I'm putting 1 point in holdout.
Maxed out my targeted attack, improved my feint. Don't think my feint is maxed out yet, but it's going to be close.
Yep, they're all good.
No, I need 1 more point to max out feint. Unless I get that perk. What perk?
Technique mastery?
That sounds right.
Special training. It's like special training. Lets you break the rules.
Yeah, technique mastery. I think Gabe had that. That's why his feint was like 27 or something.
Yeah. And it probably still didn't work.
Oh, no, it worked quite often, actually. It's just every now and then ran into that stupid nonsense with Fantasy Grounds where it goes, yeah, here, have back-to-back-to-back 18s.
Yet you went and killed my Sardaukar 1 hit.
Because my lord instructed it to happen.
And to be fair, the Sardaukar was distracted.
You just want credit for killing a Sardaukar.
I don't want claim. I don't want claim on it. I mean, Atticus did it. I just said I distracted it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so no other changes to characters?
Nope.
Alright, so we shall do a quick recap. The characters, all either agents or the or related to the House Danann, have been given a mission to gather some information from a contact that has something important that they wish to pass on. Get pictures up.
Lady sexy.
I'm sure there are no unsexy women in the Dune universe.
Well, it's the year 10,000 something or other.
I don't know if
Surely
that's true.
Surely they've figured it out by then.
I don't know what the current shutout Mapes looks like.
Yeah, the current one, she's not that much better. Actually, I kind of like the Lynch Shut Up Mapes. She seemed more creepy. Alright, so Lady Tanielu, she has brought a message and handed it to Tennyson, and claims to have information related to the Harkonnens on Arrakis, who are going about some naughty business. She wants to put this information in the hands of the players or the characters, so that in order to get some favor with the Atreides. So the plan is that you would investigate this information, and then you would take this information to the Atreides and let the Atreides know that it was House Tanielu that brought this information forward, and they would like some favor of the Atreides when such time as they take over Arrakis. Simply because at the moment they're not making much in the way of profits, due to the Harkonnens being greedy asshats. So she passed on this message, arranged a meeting with the characters, and during that meeting she instructed Lord Tennyson to kill her Sardaukar bodyguard, because it's important that the meeting that your characters had with her is not known to anyone, and the Sardaukar would have reported it particularly back to her betrothed or soon-to-be husband, Benedict Hasselvander, who is a member of the House Hasselvander, and they are vassals to the Harkonnens, or at least very friendly. And I think we pretty much left it at that. You guys had fought over this message, or at least Tycho fought over this message, trying to keep it secret from Tennyson, as was instructed by Tennyson's grandmother, as she wants Tennyson to be able to have a degree of plausible deniability in any sort of potential wrongdoings. And we shall pick it up from there, unless there's something that I've missed, or is there any questions?
All's well.
You were going to verify this with Lady Gwendolyn, and you have an invitation to take the Guild Highliner back to planet Kaitain to basically formalize this agreement, make it happen.
What? does that entail?
Well, you imagine that there will be some sort of contracts, like secret contracts, that you'll have to agree to, or at least Tennyson will have to sign to, so that if you guys don't come forth with the goods, then they have some sort of recourse to do something about it. And likewise, if they don't come forth with the goods, then you don't have to admit to your dealings. And more than likely that will be a CHOAM contract of some sort. As your house are also shareholders within CHOAM. But it will be, of course, a secret contract.
Now we're supposed to go with Lady Tanielu back to Dune, or back to her wherever
No,
she's going.
she's going to Kaitain. The guild highliner is going back to Kaitain.
And one of us is supposed to go with her.
Well, she has said if you guys wish to pursue this arrangement, that you should travel with her back to Kaitain. By that, she doesn't mean actually travel with her specifically. You will take you'll make your own way there under whatever you want to say, whatever reason you're traveling to Kaitain. But you won't necessarily be traveling with her. So you'll make your own way there, but you will meet up once there.
Well, at this point, Tycho Kane is going to have to report back to the Spy Master or to Mentat and provide the details of what has occurred so far.
All right. Is everyone else good with that? Shall you report?
I believe it's time to, yes.
All right, so how will you go about reporting this? Will you convene a meeting, and who's going to be there, or will you be seeing people individually or privately?
I'd let Tycho and Valtteri report back to their not supervisor, not overseer, their leadership, and then try to keep an eye out for when. Excuse me. And essentially, then just make my own way to Lady Gwendolyn and surprise her with that I have the information, and here's how things are laid out, and propose that we pursue the plan with House Tanielu.
Okay, so Tycho, you're going to report back to Dwar?
Yeah, the Spy Master or the Mentat, whoever, Dwar.
So you will meet him in his office, and then report. Do you hold anything back, or do you say it as it happened?
I will say it as it happened.
He will also... That's not... Ori. So he will listen to what you have to say. He will say he has heard rumblings from the Atreides camp that there was an incident that took place at the reception. Lady Tanielu's Sardaukar bodyguard has gone missing, and no one knows of his whereabouts. He looks at you and says, "Do we have something to do with it?"
Yes.
Can you explain?
We had a meeting with the lady. Tansen was involved, and he indicated that the lady asked that the Sardaukar be dispatched so that no one else would know what was going on. Tansen gave us the go-ahead, and the Sardaukar was taken out, and I disposed of the body.
And it will not be found?
Unless they can find all the pieces, no.
He will nod and contemplate for a little bit. He said that was brash for Tennyson to implicate himself as such. But it is done. Very well. You are dismissed.
Do you have any further orders? And what about the rest of the information I provided?
What information in specific are you talking about there?
About the lady's request that we travel to Kaitain.
Okay. He says, I will have to speak with Lady Gwendolyn before we move on anything like that. You will be kept abreast.
Yes, sir. I'll depart.
Alright, so Valtteri, you will meet with Mentat Ori, and I assume that you will advise him likewise.
I will.
Do you hold anything back?
Nope.
Because he knows that Mentats can't make proper decisions without full information.
Indeed. Also, I'm not necessarily privy to any of the details about what happened to the body, just that it was removed.
You do tell him that it was Tycho that disposed of that body.
Tycho ate it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no reason not to tell him.
And Ori will question, why exactly was the Sardaukar dispatched?
They really didn't have any choice. The lady wasn't going to give the information without removing the external observation.
Give me a reaction roll, please. you can add any reaction modifiers.
Well, know that I actually have any really. Suppose I could claim sense of duty to the house. I'll claim that. It's interesting. Don't those normally actually get generated, don't they? Or do they?
There's usually a bunch of additional bonuses that get imported as part of a big block of text.
Yeah, the block of text is there, but it also generates modifiers, or it generated some.
No, those modifiers have to be done manually. They're not imported.
Did it not? I thought they were. I thought they generated. No. Whatever.
Now that you mention it, though, it probably could be done. Well, Ori seems pleased with your efforts, and you can see that there is a degree of concern that Tennyson is now potentially implicated in a murder, and one that could cause him and the house some issues, especially with the Atreides, since this happened on the Atreides watch. It will all come down to whether that body is ever found or anything else crops up.
Well, I think ultimately the intel was worth it.
He says, agreed. I will confer with Lady Gwendolyn. I'll pass on this information, and I'm sure that she will wish to speak to you soon. At which you are dismissed unless you have something further to add.
Nope.
And then sometime later, your troop, Tennyson, Valtteri, Atticus, and Tycho, well, the invitation isn't extended to Atticus, but he is known to just be hanging on the coattails of Tennyson. He goes wherever Tennyson goes. So you all end up back in the main hall. Where Lady Gwendolyn is present. When you enter, you can see she has a look on her face. If anyone has body language, you're welcome to roll.
Do we need to, or is it obvious?
Well, gives you an excuse to roll body language.
Why the hell not?
So you will all see, and it is quite obvious that she doesn't seem to be all too happy with the situation. And the first thing she says is, "Grandson, you have put yourself in a dangerous situation.
Can't always avoid situations.
I understand this, but there's a time and place for everything. At a Atreides reception is probably not the best place to host a murder."
Probably not. However, when it comes with the sole opportunity to get a new source of information and or a potential set of new allies, or at least a new set of not enemies, then it might seems to be a risk worth taking.
Well, at least this far, it appears to have paid off. There has been no news from the Atreides as to the whereabouts of the Sardaukar. The Atreides have appointed Lady Tanielu a personal bodyguard until such time as she is scheduled to leave.
It's going to be Duncan, Idaho, because he's good with the ladies.
Indeed. She will then go on to say, "We have thought this over, and we believe that pursuing this information could be of value to both our house and the Atreides." And then she sort of just shrugs, and I guess indirectly, House Tanielu. And you can see that her concerns really don't extend past, the first two. So, travel to Kaitain and arrange to speak further with the Lady Tanielu, and you have the authority to agree to any terms. Use your best judgment.
Naturally.
Don't give away the homeworld.
Well, there goes Plan A.
She'll frown. Then she'll say, "Well, shall leave it to you.
Very well, grandmother.
Do our house proud."
And try not to kill anyone.
She will look at both Valtieri and Tycho, and probably Atticus at the same time. But she knows that Atticus is super loyal to Tennyson, so whatever Tennyson says, Atticus will probably do. So she says, "Make sure my grandson does not make any unwise, brash decisions."
She'll do our utmost, my lady.
Trying to figure out how Atticus would actually respond to that.
Well, I'm assuming
Well,
Atticus
my
is
lady.
super loyal to Tennyson, so
Yeah, it's just rash decisions. It's like, wasn't, hey, I need this Sardaukar guy murdered, kind of a rash decision, and Atticus didn't hesitate.
So, yeah, that's why she directed it more at Tycho and Valtieri.
Gotcha.
Because she knew that if Tennyson said jump, Atticus would do it.
I'm sure if Atticus had a better idea at the time, he might have put that forward.
What? It seemed like a pretty good idea to me.
I can't think of a better idea.
He's just a Sardaukar.
I mean, other than throwing a stick and having him go fetch it.
So, unless there's anything else, you guys will be dismissed and given approval to make arrangements to join this guild highliner. And the way that normally works is you guys, since you do have a lighter, which is the ships that go into the Guild Highliner. You will take your own. You'll park it within the cargo bay of the Guild Highliner, and you'll ride out the trip to Kaitain, which is, virtually instant. Well, the trip is instant. The boarding and departure, they take the time. So you guys are free to make your arrangements.
I'm sure this is not our first time off-world.
It would not be.
It's definitely not mine. It's trained at Guinness.
Yeah, not Tycho's.
And I was just reading about something. The sword masters use half shields a lot.
Not heard of that.
Neither have I. Is that from the hideous Kevin J. Anderson non-canon crap?
I'm not sure. I was just reading it. And they're half shields so that you can move your body in a certain direction and present the shield and then sort of spin around and you have no shield. Apparently at some point Leto and Gurney were training with half shields. Though I don't remember ever reading that, so it might be
That's going to be Kevin J. Anderson crap.
Hunters of Dune, apparently.
Crap.
It is a rare and ancient Guinness discipline.
So I guess it could be considered maybe a parry. Well, actually, no, it would be a block. Except you don't. It would be a hands-free block.
Well, there are a couple of things I mentioned.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Right, yeah. Fate Harkonnen used those. He used the half shield in the gladiatory fights. It's basically like covering one side, not both.
Seems like it would be a block, probably. Although,
means I'm going to have to actually put points in the shield skill.
The 3rd edition stuff talked about being able to use the shields to parry, basically, because your arm is protected. You could actually parry with your arm.
Yeah, you could. You would still run the risk of potentially, if you're going up against someone that knows how to penetrate shields, if you parry, they can make an attack using the penalty to penetrate shields and maybe cut your arm. So you will be dismissed. And what preparations would you like to do? Is there anything that you wish to be taking with you? There was a question I had. Does House Danann have corporate offices on Kaitain?
What kind of world is Kane?
It's the capital. It's
Imperial
basically
capital.
Coruscant.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's basically Coruscant.
Voltaire is going to get data. He wants all the data.
I imagine they would have an office on Kaitain just to have some form of presence on there, just for ensuring house agents can have a safe house, or at least resources that they can tap for anything they might need.
keeping in mind your primary domain, like farming, is it farming processes or expertise? It is a big business for you guys. It's like the thing that makes you money.
Yeah, we offer our services to other houses, so it makes sense that we are in a place where we can deal with other houses. So it makes sense to have offices there. But there's probably not a lot of need for the farming on Kaitain.
Well, yeah, there'd be no farming, but your expertise, your project managers and stuff like that would be working out of corporate offices, and if someone needs your services, they would probably go to those corporate offices and conduct their business. All right, so we shall assume that your house does have corporate offices there, and I imagine that there would be, in the hundreds sort of staff involved in the running of that whole affair.
Yeah, probably.
Since your interests are universe-wide. All right, so data. What sort of data are we talking about? You can acquire data, but what sort of what is it in specific that you need?
Just research data on the Tanielu house and the Harkonnen operations that are related. The betrothal, whoever the hell that was, that she was getting married to. All the stuff that's involved in the potential negotiation.
All right, give me
He
a
wants to know her domains.
give me a roll on your research, and this will represent how much good data you managed to get.
How much time will I have to gather it?
You will have a little less than 24 hours.
Okay, so if we're talking an average of 3 hours. I can at least get ×4 in there, probably.
Now, while he's doing that research, can I look into the current political situation on Kaitain, current affairs?
Sure. Is there anything in specific that you are trying to find?
More of just the general landscape of what to expect when we get there. If anything does pop out as I'm doing research or looking into it, I'd bring it to Tanson's attention.
What kind of library do we have available? I assume the best of the best here.
Yes, assume best. So max bonuses. All right, so you will have lots of good data. The way that plays out is if you have a particular question that comes up that you want to know that relates to that stuff that you've gathered, then you know the answer. or you have the information that you looked up. No further rolls needed. All right, so the political landscape is basically the Kaitain. Most houses have representation there. You have the Chome corporate offices are all there, and the I imagine you have all the ambassadors to the various houses and planets and such would all be there. It is like the seat of government. You have the Emperor, Shaddam IV, who is also calls Kaitain home. If I recall correctly, some time back, the Emperor's home planet was Solus Secundus, which is the home of the Sardaukar, but it got atomicked and became a wasteland. So the Emperor moved to Kaitain.
That is not this. It's not that. That is not this emperor.
No, that was
Many emperors.
many emperors ago. Yeah.
And now Seleucus Secundus is a prison planet. That's all it is.
Nothing to see here.
Totally.
Move along.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it is the seat of government in the empire. So all business sort of happens through there. So anything important that's going to go down will likely go down there.
Okay.
I guess you would know the current state of affairs that Duke Leto is a rising power and becoming very popular amongst the houses of the Landsraad. And on a succeed by 8, you would probably know that the Emperor feels somewhat threatened by this, or the Duke's power and influence, and it is possible that he could gather enough support to overthrow the Emperor.
That is definitely information I'd relate to Tansen.
I think that would be fairly common knowledge at this stage of things. So the Emperor is certainly concerned.
Do we have any information, anything about between House Danann and the Emperor? Any contentions that we are aware of?
Nope. You are minor, small, and insignificant, and do not feature in the Emperor's dealings.
So even though we are vassal to House Atreides, he does not consider us a threat?
No. He would probably barely know you, or only know you by name, maybe. Of course, his advisors and such would know more, would be able to instruct him. If he would have audience, then he'd be briefed. But just common knowledge to the Emperor, you barely feature. Is there anything else that you wanted to sort of learn?
I would the only other thing I would do is bring along my gear, disguise kit, stuff like that.
Okay.
Hanson, you're up.
Yeah, I can't think of any special gear that I'm going to end up needing here.
The control rating on Kaitain is quite high. So we're talking 5, sort of 5 level control rating. So it's only really Tansen and Atticus that could get around legitimately armed without causing any sort of drama. And those armaments would be mostly ceremonial.
It's a good thing my monowired parrot is disguised as a ring.
Yeah, probably everybody wears that ring.
Or they have is it the needle ring that has little poison darts? It doesn't shoot poison darts, but it has a poison tip.
Well, mine is basically a servant ring with the sigil of House Danann on it.
All right, so is Tennyson doing anything special to prepare?
Not particularly. Going to be on usual suit, fancy clothes, swords, and the force belt. And beyond that, probably pick out a nice bottle of wine should he happen to meet Tanielu in person rather than deal with her agents.
All right. Do you take your full wardrobe? Pack 4 big chests of stuff to take with you, or are you not so vain?
He's got people to carry that.
Yeah, not that vain. So probably just like a couple outfits in case something happens to one.
All right, so you don't move half your house there.
No. No more than a quarter.
All right, so time will pass, and you guys will find yourself boarding your ship that will take you to the Guild Highliner. Currently in orbit over Caladan. Valtteri, you're able to see that Lady Tanielu has already boarded. She has been here pretty much since the evening on Caladan. Well, she's listed in the manifest as being on board.
How often do these things actually make the trips? Usually take like a week or something.
Good question. I know that they do bounce around the place, picking people up from different spots, kind of like a bus. So it might well be that this Highliner will go to other places before arriving at Kaitain.
So is there the big electronic sign on the back of it that says next stop, Kaitain?
Pretty much, yeah. In this case, because this is full of dignitaries and such, it is going direct to Kaitain. It's almost a private charter. So it would have cost the, I guess, the Emperor or Cho, maybe, would have cost him a fortune to send this out here on a special mission.
Orty, calculate how much did that cost?
He'll give you a figure of Solaris, which is extreme.
I was more joking. I was mimicking
Yeah, I
the
know.
Duke's response to Thufir.
So you board. You will fly your ship into special holding bays that are yours. You don't leave your ships at all. However, there are some ships in here, like yachts and such, which virtually live on a Guild Highliner. So they jump with the Guild Highliner everywhere, and then they'll do a little cruise of wherever they turn up, and then they'll return back to the Highliner. Mostly a tourist attraction, or a tourist sort of thing, like a cruise ship. And if you so chose, you could probably get on board one of those. But ordinarily, you stay on your own vessels.
We will look out the window and say, wow.
Is anyone going to leave during the trip?
Nope.
You
Only
do
if
have
Tansen wants to order me to.
You do have a couple of hours before the Highlander will jump, and then that jump is like instantaneous. So then you'll be at Kaitain and then disembarking. So no plans to go around and do anything.
Nope.
No.
Don't want to harm relations with the guild.
All right, so the clock clicks down. There is a warning that the Highliner will jump, and then the process begins. There is a little bit of disorientation. You feel a little weird, and then it's over. And you will now find yourself above planet Kaitain.
Let me get a bucket for Tansen.
Actually, that's a good idea.
No need.
Make a health roll. Critical fail leaves you woozy.
I think you need the bucket more than I, Tycho.
Wasn't a critical failure, though.
So you feel a few moments of disorientation. You're not spatially present, and then it sort of your mind refocuses and you realize that you're no longer in the same place you were before. There is a procedure for disembarking the Highliner, and your ship will follow that, and then you will be on approach to Corinth City, which is the capital of Kaitain. It is a very opulent place. There's long, tall spires that seem to sway in the wind. And it does look very pretty and expensive. It is surprisingly hard to find artwork that is Dune related. I would have thought that there'd be a lot more.
Guess I haven't gone looking for any.
So Corinth City has a whole bunch of, gardens and such. You guys will land. And what is your first order of business? You have a couple of options. You could check in on your corporate offices, or you could follow up with Lady Tanielu, or you could sightsee. What do you want to do?
Tanson's leaning towards heading to the corporate office first and foremost, establishing a kind of keeping up appearances.
Do you announce your arrival, or is it a surprise visit?
It would have been announced.
All right, so as soon as you arrive in system, you send out the message saying that you will be visiting the corporate offices.
Yep.
All right, so what do your corporate offices look like?
Do we have a schedule? Are we scheduled to meet with what's her name?
Not unless you contact her to arrange something. The expectation is that this is going to be a business meeting, so as to throw off any suspicions.
To be honest,
yeah. Well, we'll go to the offices and start making the arrangements for the meeting. Then I presume.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right, so your corporate offices, what do they look like? What's the decor? What's the feel of this place? Is it cold and very businesslike, or do you have gardens and niceties? Is it open air? Lots of open spaces, or are we talking bureaucratic?
I think it'd be sort of set up a square, like or I guess you could think Pentagon has an open space in the middle that's pretty large. That that's very, very well maintained and is well gardened. That doesn't make sense as a word, but just lots of greenery there in the center and a few walking paths between, and then offices in the surrounding building.
All right, so you will take a transport that will drop you off at the corporate offices. You are met by the senior executives. You're greeted, and they will bow and be appropriately formal. They welcome your visit. It is a surprise, so the senior executive asks, is there anything a matter? As far as he's aware, everything has been running smoothly. Is there a particular reason that the heir has shown up at the corporate offices?
So primarily we're here. We've heard rumblings of a potential new clients, and wish to, and while it might be a bit out of the norm, we wish to meet with them here and try to work out some arrangement in order to support their enterprises with our expertise.
I see. I must apologize, Your Grace. Your visit was unexpected. Had we known earlier, we would have taken extra time to prepare.
No, all is well. We should keep things working as expected. We can, any accommodations that need to be made, I'm sure we can make them as needed, but we don't want to.
That's a pretty cool image.
Yeah, my train of thought just fried. But yes, any accommodations that might be needed, we can make as the need arises, and the operations here seem to, appear to all be flowing at a pace, and everything is well maintained. So I don't anticipate any problems or issues that may arise as we seek to bring this matter to a close.
I'll see to it that your family's estates here are informed of your arrival and ready for you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
So I assume you'll have like penthouse suites somewhere here that you stay at when your family travel here. So you will enter the corporate building, and when you do, because you are a person of significance, you will see all the sort of staff have been gathered in their lines, sort of honouring your arrival, awaiting sort of inspections and stuff like that. Do you go through the pomp and ceremony, or do you get straight down to business?
Probably prefer to get a bit straight more to down to business.
You will also notice that there's a number of, it is obviously rushed and people are being caught off guard. It's like a surprise inspection. But is that something that Anderson is concerned about, or he just lets it pass?
I just lets it pass. He's not here to look for issues. He's not trying to inspect. So, I mean, he might not stop them. It never hurts for them to put things at a little bit more together and try to make a show of it. But he won't go out of his way to try to enforce or request as such.
All right, so you will arrive there. There'll be all this, and then people will sort of get back to work, and then other senior officials and such will come and greet you, and there will be the obligatory brown nosing, saying how wonderful everything is and how great they've made it, give me a promotion, all that sort of stuff.
This is an unexpected pleasure. We are honored by your presence.
You can make a body language roll if you wish.
In the box or out in the open?
Out in the open's fine. Actually, I should probably set in the box because on a critical fail, you misinterpret. Other than people being a little bit panicked, it's like, yeah, oh shit, and nervous. Everyone else seems to be, there's nothing that sort of gives you cause for concern. Give me 1 second.
You go strangle the bird outside the window.
No, I had to go turn on the air conditioning because it's starting to get a little bit warm here.
All right. Your weather is backwards.
It's forward. It's just you guys have got it.
So we are going to start make the meeting arrangements, and how long it's going to take for us to get to said meeting will kind of depend on what they come up with.
Okay, so you're going to go through the business channels,
User
Oh,
disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, just
corporate channels.
standard corporate channels. And I imagine she just got here the same as us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
we
probably
lost
not a
Rigel.
big hurry.
Yep, he
Yes.
mentioned it in Fantasy Grounds.
Does anyone have an administration skill that'd be useful
I
here?
do.
I have administration.
Then it would be Anderson that should probably roll this one. I guess Tycho could help, assist if he wants.
I'll see what Tansen's role
User
is and
joined
see
your
if he
channel.
needs assistance.
No, I think you have to roll assistance before. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that a +1 or a +2?
+1.
You only get 2 on a crit.
And I think you can only have 2 people assist.
There's not a hard limitation. It's just however many it makes sense.
Fair enough.
I must away momentarily.
All right, so you will make.
Did you hit mute by accident?
So you'll make the arrangements. You'll put in, some through corporate channels that you wish to arrange a meeting with, your counterparts within House Tanielu in regards to, I guess, some potential contracts to improve efficiency of whatever operations they have going. Perhaps improve efficiency of their spice harvesting or whatever. Anything else that you guys want to do in preparation for that?
Nope, I'll just make sure, dress in a fancy suit, have the bottle of wine, and that'll be that.
Are you going to bring any of the local staff along on this meeting, or will you be dealing with it all yourself?
It'll just be the off-world crew.
All right. So you make the arrangement, and this meeting will take place in a couple of days. So you have time to do whatever you wish. Otherwise, we will fast forward. We'll wait for Phil to get back. Yes.
User disconnected from your channel.
This might be a good time to take a 5-minute break. So we'll take a 5-minute break while Phil gets his computer sorted out. All right, we're back.
To whatever end.
So you have made these arrangements, and you have a couple of days before the meeting is going to go down. Unless there's something in particular that you want to do in that time, investigation or anything like that, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, you will arrive at the meeting.
I think since we've got a couple of days beforehand, I would like to see if I can get a tour or otherwise get eyes on the destination beforehand.
So you're going to do that yourself?
Tycho
Unless
would
somebody
like
else
to
wants
come
to go
along.
along.
Tycho will come along.
All right, so your destination being the House Tanielu offices.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, you will learn that they rent offices within the CHOAM headquarters. This is called the Silver Needle, I believe. It is a massive building where anything and everything to do with CHOAM takes place. As you guys are registered shareholders, well, House Danann is
Company is.
a registered shareholder of CHOAM, you will have legitimate access to this building to go about your business. It may well be that you have like a small corporate office here yourself just to make, have a presence in this building.
Right.
So that may just be a reception and a few staff.
Well, if that's the case, then we'll go check that out and make sure it's all squared away.
Might as well.
All right, inside the CHOAM office, their foyer is very extravagant. You walk in to see that. there are a number of people that sort of go about their business. They're dressed in the most expensive of clothes. I'm sure there's someone walking around with a pug in their handbag or something like that because, pugs and rich people.
Or it's a really small person.
And everything that you see yellow is gold.
You also see a large hollow screen, which has the Chone flag and some corporate propaganda playing, including all the latest and greatest things that are happening in the company. It'll say House so and so has produced well above their quota of whatever, and business is going fantastic and all sorts of wonderful stuff. So that will play in the main foyer as well. You will have to obviously go through security, but as you are legit, that's not a problem at all. What floor is the Danann office on?
Since I don't know the scale of buildings in Dune, let's go with page 347 or floor 347.
Okay, so you have the scale is huge.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds like a good number.
So, was it the Bel Khalifa? Tallest building in the world? I think in June, Burj Khalifa. I think in June terms of scale, that's probably your average building.
Ah,
How many floors is that?
that's what I'm actually looking at right now. 154 with 9 maintenance floors. So yeah, floor 347 is probably on the lower end then.
Probably.
It's
Which,
57
would be
elevators.
about right.
Yeah.
Do you announce your visit here?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to turn up and surprise visit?
Oh, might as well announce. We're not here for anything secret or nefarious.
Totally.
Okay, so these guys likewise were a little bit ill prepared, but they had a little bit more warning, given that you went to your main offices first. Someone has called and said, you better straighten the place up, clean it up. Tannisson's here. He's probably going to head over there. So they have a little bit more warning. So when you arrive, things are a little more organised, and you have, your favourite tea and coffee or snack or whatever it is, ready and waiting for you there. So you will enter, and the senior staffer here will ask you what is the nature of the business. Is there anything that they can help you with?
All we'll need is a meeting room for to host a potential business dealing between ourselves and another house here in the near future.
Well, it's already been arranged that you're going to go to their offices.
Okay. Then no, there's nothing nothing needed at the moment.
But Valtieri, you wanted to do some scoping out beforehand, right?
Yeah.
You just use it as a spot inspection for Tansen.
All right. So Valtieri, how do you go about your scoping out of this place?
I am just here to familiarize myself with the place. So, as far as our offices go here, we could probably just get them to give me the quickie tour, and same with the Tanielu office.
All right. They're able to look up the floor number for the Tanielu offices. Since you guys are a little bit bigger than they are, they're on some floors below you. So if you were 300, they're like 200.
Well, at least it's not like 10.
If your floor number indicates your status. So with your research role, you would already have this information. So you'll know that they occupy a full floor in this building. So the whole floor is dedicated to their operation, and it is literally their corporate HQ. So unlike you guys that have your own HQ elsewhere, this is the House Tanielu head office. They occupy a whole floor. You will also know from images and such that you were able to find that their decor, or their outward sort of decor, is somewhat islander. So it's
Not surprising.
tropical. Has a sort of tropical islander aesthetic. That is their style. Other than that, there's nothing that gives you any sort of cause for concern. Everything seems to be normal. Their operation here is a little bit smaller than you guys. However, of note, they do have spice mining rights, which is something of a big deal since mining spice is important and make you very wealthy. And this is something that you guys do not have at present. Whether that's something that you pursue in future, I guess that'll be decided.
They wouldn't by any chance have any samples, would they?
They probably would.
Actually, I suppose getting a hold of spice probably isn't that difficult.
Not for you guys. If you wanted some, you could get a sample. It is expensive, so it wouldn't be flaunted and wasted, but yeah, you could get some.
No, basically at this point, I'm just establishing a baseline of how the operation looks and feels, so that when we come here for real, if something's out of place, then we'll notice.
I would assume that Tycho has probably been here before. So, based on previous experience, if he notices anything out of the ordinary, out of place, he would comment on it or investigate.
So when you say you've been here before, is that the Danann officers or is that the
House Danann offices.
okay?
And also, because of his capacity as being a steward, land manager, he has legitimately gone to other houses or probably gone to Kaitain to give his expertise.
Okay. Well, as far as you can see, everything seems to be normal. I suppose you could give me an observation roll. For no other reason than to roll a skill. Critical fail, and everything's wrong. But that's not a critical fail. So everything seems to be as per normal. Stuff is operating like it's supposed to. And the building itself seems to be as busy as it normally is. The last time we were here, it was the same sort of activity. It's neither increased or decreased.
Normal is good.
Well, I suppose we're about as prepared as we're going to get.
You do know from your research, since all churn companies have to submit financial records and stuff like that, you will, Valtiri, give me an intelligence analysis roll. Do you have like an accounting skill or something like that as well? Something that could be related to accounting?
Thinking not accounting per se. I think that's more Tycho's thing, I think. I have market analysis though.
Sure, you can roll that. Tycho, if you have some sort of accounting skill.
I have administration and I have intelligence analysis.
You can make a roll. That will be considered an assist.
Intelligence or administration?
Intelligence analysis. So I'll take that as one complementary skill and one assist. So to succeed by 5. So you would know that the going over like company records and stuff, the spice mining operation for House Tanielu is not as profitable as it could be, or as it should be. You don't know whether there's some efficiency issues there or something like that. However, their books indicate there is more money coming in than you would normally expect from their regular operations. So their spice mining doesn't generate as huge amount of profits as it could, but yet the company is reporting significant profits over and above what you would expect for their usual export, which was tropical fruits.
Right.
And if you recall, she revealed at the meeting that they utilize smugglers to move excess spice off-world because their quota only allows them a certain amount, or the Harkonnens have only allowed them a certain quota. Once they fill that quota, they can't take any more. But you were told that they utilize smugglers to move extra product. So you will confirm that, and it appears to be evident in their like corporate filings.
Alrighty then.
Not that that has been, investigated in depth by anyone else. It seems to be, as long as they're paying their taxes and stuff, no one cares. Or they're paying their dues. No one questions as to why they're making more money than they appear to they should be making. All right. So as the days will pass, you will do your investigation. You're not contacted by Lady Tanielu at all during that time, but you are informed that she will be present for this meeting. So the time comes where you will go and meet. You arrive at their offices. You're greeted. You're taken in, and you're sitting in a fairly rich-looking boardroom.
Just to establish it happened some hours before the meeting actually takes place. Valtteri will be getting with their security department and going over the arrangements.
Bell's room.
Again.
Dong.
Sunday here.
Dong.
How far away is that?
What are you talking about? He's totally gaming in the church.
Because it sounds like you're right in the damn belfry.
Probably 200, 300 meters.
Good God, that's a loud bell.
The dinging is done. Okay, does Valtteri arrange for any particular security arrangements?
No, he's just looking for the potential assassin holes.
Okay, give me a tradecraft roll.
Things. Oh, right.
And also give me a reaction roll. You could substitute an influence roll here too if you wish.
Who would I be influencing?
The security, see whether they turn over the
Right.
security records of the staff that are there. So you can analyze who's there and whether they're a threat or not.
I am trying to think if there's anything I would do. I suppose Savoir High Society might function there. That seems reasonable. We'll use that.
Right, so you will get a good reaction and they will cooperate with you in however, whatever manner you wish. So if you have any particular requests, they realise that it is someone very important that is turning up. It's not just your everyday sort of exec that's going to be here. It is someone that is a potential high-value target.
Would my assessment of their security be that they know what they're doing, or are they lax?
They appear to be doing an adequate job, but it's not an exceptional job. Their security is on par with, important business people, not necessarily, looking after the president, the president
Right.
arriving, sort of thing.
So he'll suggest a couple of minor tweaks, and that's pretty much it.
Any particular idea on what those will be, other than
I have no idea, no.
right. So you give some abstract, good advice on security arrangements, and they will comply, and they will take the time to make those arrangements. So as a result, when you get there, you will see that there are increased security. There are armed personnel on board, and your assessment is that Tennyson is going to be suitably safe. You're taken into the offices, and you are shown to a boardroom. It looks very fancy. You are asked to wait there, and then not too long after, Lady Tanielu will arrive. She'll greet you all. She says, thank you for attending. I am looking forward to our business arrangement. She will close the door and then press a button, which you would realize she locks that door, and then she walks over to the head of the desk and presses something on the desk, and then you sort of hear a slight sort of hum, which you would realize is like noise cancelling. So any discussion here is going to be in private. There's no sort of electronic listening devices or anything like that that would be able to pick it up, or any outside observers won't hear anything that's sort of being discussed.
And then she pulls out a bunch of blades and kills us all.
Would not be surprised.
So she offers you a drink. Do you accept?
I do, and also mention that if we're in the position of offering drinks to one another, I also brought this and pull out the bottle of wine.
She accepts it with a smile, and there is a sort of glint in her eye. You're not sure whether she's just being super nice or a little bit flirtatious.
She's hungry.
Is Tennyson
Handsome.
handsome?
She's being flirty.
Then she's being. Yes, she's being flirty. Valtteri, you'll notice that she's being flirty.
Well, I'm not going to tell him that.
You're not going to go wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more?
No, he doesn't need any encouragement. We're supposed to keep him from making brash decisions.
All right, so she will pour drinks for everyone, and she'll hand them, or she'll put them down on the desk. But when she pours Tanson's drink and goes to accept the bottle of wine or whatever it is that he brought, she actually walks up and stands very close to Tanson to accept the bottle, and she personally hands Tanson the drink. Does Atticus do anything since?
He is definitely going to, tense up as soon as she starts getting closer, and before he actually, I think this would be almost built in. The snoopers are going to need to be involved. That's for poison on both sides.
All right. So how do you react, or how does Tanson react?
See.
Well, role play it.
I think part of the security arrangements would have been to have the snoopers on hand just for this sort of thing. So we were probably expecting that.
It's fair that you have them. So she will hand the drink to Tanson.
And probably be very aware that I am watching her like a hawk.
She will. You don't know whether it's just like overconfidence, but she will glance, and she acknowledges that you're there, but it doesn't seem to phase her at all. She continues her approach to Tanson with this flirtatious look. And she stands right before him and hands him the drink. And she accepts the wine and has a look at the, it's vintage, and will say thank you. Hanson, do you drink?
Yes.
That would be before he drinks. I'd probably make a comment. My lord, may I see that glass, please?
They don't have to actually taste it. We've got machines for that.
No, the snoopers. Yeah. So are we is it? Do we just have to point it at it and it works and tells us if it's poison or not?
Yes, it could be electronics op sensors.
I would think it would be the most efficient to check the bottle before it gets poured, unless you're expecting something to be in the glass itself.
So would that have been Valtteri?
So who does this inspection?
What did you say it was? Sensors?
Sensors. So Valtteri does it. So Valtteri, you, as after she's poured, you head over discreetly and check the bottle.
We'll pass pass our bottle on to their guy.
Well, they don't have a guy in here. It's just her at the moment. But she will take the bottle. she'll accept it.
Well, never mind then.
She won't necessarily drink from it or anything. You're going to do the senses roll?
No. Sounded like you didn't actually want to roll. Oh, it's going to be like that today, is it?
You got luck.
Is it worth it? I guess
I
if
don't
it
know,
comes off
is it?
badly, yeah, it probably is. We'll do that again.
Thompson's like, yeah, it's worth it. I'd say you use the critical failure.
I'd say you use a 7.
I say you all shut the hell up.
Are you going to do this stealthily, or are you going to make it known that you're testing?
I'm just gonna do the whole. This is we're going through the motions here.
All right. Well then, there will
Honestly,
be
it might just be so automatic for Tonson, since he's the
Yeah.
heir, where it's like if he receives something, he just shifts it over to Volteri, and then when no alarms go off, he drinks it.
Yeah, we've done this 1,100 times already.
All right. Well, she will notice, and she says, there is no need for that. There is no. We mean no ill intent to your house. Our business here is for mutual benefit.
There's an ancient saying, trust but verify. And look, it's verified.
And you will notice from her body language, it's like you're cramping my style. I'm getting my thing on, and you're effectively like cock blocking her.
Yes,
While you
yes,
do
we
this.
are.
So she waits for you to give the all clear, and then she turns on again. And then she continues, and she hands the drink to Anderson.
He'll take it, and I do apologize for the interruption to the start of the meeting. Oof.
I think you get to add your handsome level to that as well.
I thought it already included it. Did it say
So-
on the-
Because it's going to vary.
Ah,
Well,
It's
it-
like
yeah, I
plus
guess
1,
it
plus 2, plus 2, plus 4. You're plus 2, plus 4. So if she's attracted to, your type, then that's like a plus 4, I believe.
Yeah, I wonder what happens when both people are trying to use sex appeal on each other.
They're just sexy towards each other.
When a
is
man loves a woman,
that, is
no,
that
it looks like on
nine
the board
divided by 0?
it mentions it
And-
does include it already. The
really,
it has
that's odd.
it has sex appeal listed at 16 on the board, and it's 16 in the export. That's here.
Okay.
Also,
I will
the
get-
smooth operator too as well.
I will get body language rolls in the box, please, from those that have it. And this is to read whether her sex appeal is to get deliberate influence, or she is, as in, it's an act that she's putting on to influence, or she's
not into you, bro.
legitimately interested.
Would I be able to do detect lies as a counterpoint to that without body language?
No. Detect lies is more spoken.
Verbal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you need to get body language.
I do.
All right. So
Did you burn all
As-
your points?
Oh yeah.
as Tycho, Valtteri, and Atticus, you can see it appears that she is legitimately attracted to Tennyson. There's something about him that, there's an attraction there. She's not putting on an act. So she's obviously putting on an act to appeal to him. But she's likewise attractive.
She wants to get out of the arranged marriage.
But
So
she's
in
already
9
got a
months-
marriage arranged.
So she says, will your staff be joining us?
Now, with the
Kinky.
formalities out of the way, I don't believe they'll be necessary any further.
You may go now.
My lord, I recommend I at least be present.
If anyone were to be present, it would be Atticus, but not at this moment.
Alright, so Tennyson, you dismiss your entourage?
Yes.
This is a terrible, terrible mistake. He's going to end up dead. Or at least in handcuffs.
Would not be surprised.
Well, the handcuffs aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, so she will unlock the door and open the door for you guys to leave. And after you do, she will then close the door behind you and you'll hear the door again lock.
This reminds me of that last time.
So the meeting gets underway. She will take a seat at the head of the table and she will sit you to the next chair, sort of on her left, and she'll begin to speak. She says, "So I trust our houses are to come to an arrangement in regards to the matter we discussed previously."
And that is indeed correct, my lady.
As you speak, you'll also notice there's a slight change in the sort of pitch and tone of your voice due to the noise cancelling or the white noise generator. Those of you outside will hear nothing from the room at all. They
70s porn music.
the staff here in this building will offer to give you some refreshments or whatever, and a place for you to stay in and wait should the while this meeting takes place. Do you accept, or do you just want to stick around?
I'm standing in front of the door.
I'll look at Valtteri and I'll be like, "You want to do some carousing?"
I'm perfectly fine to wander around here a little.
All right, so you can wander around and, I guess, observe, see if there's anything that you catches your eye or
actually.
anything like that.
Having said that, I think I am going to sort of start. How do you? I guess just observe the goings on around us to the extent that can be seen, and just start analyzing it.
All right, the treatment of you guys is fairly straightforward. You don't detect any sort of suspicion, so you're allowed to go about your business. You're taking you into a waiting room where there's refreshments and there's a number of paintings and pictures on the wall and stuff like that. And you can see that there's portraits of the basically the lineage of this house, going back several generations, and you'll gather a little bit more information on the house itself, including their home world, which seems to be one that is a tropical paradise. The pictures you see on the wall depict, blue, bright blue tropical waters, palm trees, and that sort of stuff. And if you haven't worked it out, they're, like Danann is Celtic in its origin. This family seems to be Polynesian.
I would take the moment to ask about their fruit produce and offer up any potential, just using my farming background to see if I can glean any more information and stuff like that. Just offer advice and things, just stuff like that.
Right. Well,
I
if
don't
you're
think there's anybody here that's gonna need your advice.
if you're asking questions, there will be an aide appointed to you that will sort of follow you around and answer any questions you have. And they seem to be fair.
Thor and Ba Sing Se.
They are fairly forthcoming with the information, but it's all business related. They will tell you, their exports are X amount of tons of whatever to their primary markets, and space pineapple, and they'll give you, all the good things about what they do, and so it's kind of like a sales pitch. You also do see some indications of their interests in the spice harvest, as on display is a small vial that is filled with raw spice. Now, you would know that the value of this would be a small fortune of this, raw spice. But it is there. It is basically just a mantelpiece sort of bit of bling to show off that these guys do the spice thing. In the meeting, Tennyson. So she says, so we are to come to an arrangement.
Indeed.
In exchange of information that may be of value to House Atreides, you'll put forward our family through your channels and recommend us for special favors from the Atreides once they take control of Arrakis.
Have you put any thought into the nature of these favors, or what, if any, up limit you see as reasonable for these favors?
Well, she will explain, and it's basically privileged access to the Atreides. So whereas they're only a small house, not influential at all, the Atreides wouldn't give them the time of day, other than your usual business dealings. but she wants, a little special treatment to maybe get ahead, at least get in the Atreides' favor, so that her house can, maybe benefit some more on Arrakis. Perhaps so that they don't need to utilize smugglers, increase their spice quota, or whatever that pans out. She just wants special access. In political terms, it would be, is it pay to meet?
Pay to play is I think
Something
that's
like that is the term.
Yeah.
You pay, you get access to these people, and they'll listen to what you have to say. So that's all they're sort of asking, and they want you to be the channel to do that, since the Atreides will listen to you, but they won't listen to them.
Now, is this something like a normal type of request or favor that's granted? Is a vassal family of a house or a vassal house recommending and sort of promoting other minor houses to the, not the vassal, I guess vassal lord?
It would be it wouldn't be uncommon.
Okay. Then yes, I believe that would be a feasible arrangement.
In that case, she will produce a chome contract, which is basically just a contract that solidifies this. The details of the information exchange will be held in secure trust, so that they don't become part of the broad body of knowledge that goes out there. But the contract will be an official chome contract that your house is contracting with their house for services rendered, but those services are considered confidential.
So I imagine there's an actual law skill, but could I use administration to just sort of evaluate, make sure there's no hidden surprises in the fine print?
Sure. And you're fairly confident. There's nothing bad. You're not going to get stiffed. It is basically outlaying what you guys discuss. And this meeting will go on, and she'll divulge some information. She'll reiterate the fact that her house, she'll let you know that her marriage or arranged marriage is purely a political one, because the Harkonnen control Arrakis. Her house has an interest in spice mining on Arrakis. Their quota is low, but the Harkonnens are far too greedy, and they won't sort of move an inch on that. They arrange this marriage with a Harkonnen vassal, hoping to, again, in a roundabout way, get privileged access to the Harkonnen, so that her house may benefit from it. Unfortunately, she says now that the Emperor has, decreed that the Atreides are to take Arrakis, the marriage is not going to be as fruitful. She does hint to you that she doesn't like her husband to be. She'll make some comments saying that he's an unpleasant person, but she's doing it for her family. She will tell you that she deals with a particular smuggler group, and that smuggler group would take excess spice and smuggle it off world so that her family could sell it above their official quota. And she does this, she tells you this is all in confidence, and obviously I'm assuming that you're agreeing to keep it that.
Indeed.
And she does this without the knowledge of the Harkonnens, and she realizes that if the Harkonnens ever found out, that it would be doom for their family or their house. They would lose all sort of mining rights and stuff on Arrakis. She tells you that the smuggler, the group, recently has been doing smuggling some wares. These are weapons, explosives, and that sort of stuff, and delivering them to non-Harkonnen entities in Arrakeen and Carthag. And they've been doing this for the Harkonnens. They've done this several times. However, this arrangement went pear-shaped when the Harkonnens attacked the smuggler base, killed everyone, and took the spice, which was the price of their service. So, in doing all this stuff for the Harkonnens, they were paid in spice. But after everything was said and done, the Harkonnens attacked the smuggler base, killed everyone, and took the spice. Only 2 from that smuggler base managed to escape. They escaped in a thopter. It was damaged and went down in the Great Desert, in the open desert. But they sought refuge with the Fremen in a Fremen siege. The smuggler's name is Wire the Drell. Shall type it.
I surely hope so.
And you are informed that's a she.
That is an odd name.
So she has approached House Tanielu and wants to get revenge on the Harkonnens, because obviously they were betrayed. So the Harkonnens were taking advantage of the smugglers and had no intention of letting them live. And in order to keep their secret, they were going to take out the smugglers. Or they tried to. She will tell you that the reason the Harkonnens use the smugglers is because this particular group of smugglers has an arrangement with the Spacing Guild, so as they do not investigate or question anything that is transported. So how that happens, you're not certain of. You assume there'll be some sort of bribes or something like that. So the Spacing Guild will allow this smuggler to transport whatever they want in and off world. So whatever it is the Harkonnens were doing, they didn't want the Spacing Guild to be aware of it. She will also tell you, actually give me a reaction roll, and this will be...
But he already succeeded at the sex appeal thing. Isn't that considered a reaction roll?
This will be a separate reaction roll with it. She has a good reaction, but this is to see if she has an extra good reaction. So I'll get another roll. So you could substitute sex appeal if you wish.
Okay.
Um,
That makes it easier for the math modifiers.
okay, so you'll see that she's a little bit hesitant. There's something that she wants to tell you, but she's you can see that she hesitates for a moment and thinks.
Okay, touch her thigh. Give her the look.
So I guess with sex appeal, how is it that you get her to open up with this extra bit of information?
He gives her the Joey look and goes, "How you doing?"
Lady, if there's something I can assist with, or something else that you require, then feel free to say. I shall not think of it. Shall not think any less of you.
Even if it's an itch you need scratching.
All right, you say that in the tone that gives her the idea that, okay, she's cool. She says, I have not confirmed this, but I believe my husband may have been involved with the attack on the smugglers. There was one evening he commented and joked about an attack on a smuggler base. He informed me that his house troops had assisted the Harkonnens to eradicate a smuggler base because the Harkonnens had predominantly evacuated Arrakis and didn't have the manpower. Though I have not confirmed that that's actually the case. Smuggler bases are often raided. But he believes that it has put his house in good stead with Baron Harkonnen. So, you guys are talking. Is there anything that you wish to respond in particular to that bit of extra information?
Lady, I'm sorry to hear that your would-be husband is taking these actions that cause such a pain to you and yours, and while it may have put him in the Harkonnen stead, the Harkonnens are not exactly the most well known for the best treatment of their allies and vassals, and with the changeover, surely there are better options and better prospects under being allied with in Atreides, or with the Atreides umbrella than under the Harkonnen.
That's right. You're going to get into her head to start going after the Duke's son, Paul. Way to go.
She says, well, our extra dealings with the smugglers is something that my husband has not been privy of. It would not go well for our family if that was revealed. Anyway, you continue to discuss with her at length, and she will tell you that she can make arrangements for you to meet this smuggler. And like she says, the smuggler wishes to get some revenge on the Harkonnens for double crossing, and in that process is sure to reveal extra details of what it is that the Harkonnens asked these smugglers to do, and locations and people and places and all that sort of stuff. All very valuable intel, and it'll certainly be of importance to the Atreides that are currently on Arrakis, which would be Duncan, Idaho, and various other agents that are, doing their bit to secure Arrakis, because they know that, shit's going down.
Depending on the time, Thufir Hawat might also be there as well.
That meeting would be very much appreciated, lady.
So you will continue and discuss the nitty-gritty of it. Meanwhile, those of you that are outside, you will see a dude approach. I guess we can just do straight up IQ or observation rolls, or a successful IQ roll will do it, and you'll probably get a bonus of +4. This. So this is for everyone outside. All right, so Tycho and Valtteri, you'll see someone enter. It is a sort of middle-aged guy. You immediately recognize him as being of, Harkonnen relative. I won't say he's in Harkonnen attire. It's not, but you can see the similarities there. Atticus, you don't pick up on this immediately, but the more you look, eventually you'll pick up on this as well. And this guy enters.
So if I got a critical success, maybe I actually recognize him.
Oh, you did too. Okay. And you will. This is, in fact, Benedict Hasselvander.
Right, that's the betrothed.
The betrothed, yes. He strolls in, and you can see that he speaks with reception, and I guess a hearing-based perception roll to maybe hear what is being discussed.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Good lord.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah, I think Valteri's getting a raise after this.
All right, so you will hear that he is questioning whether his fiance or wife to be is here in the offices. He has been informed that she has arrived on Kaitain and he wishes to see her. You can tell that he is quite arrogant. He's saying, because the staff are saying she's currently in a meeting, and he seems pretty insistent that he wants her to know that he is here and should hurry up things.
I'll call on our channel, call out Pineapple. Or whatever our things are about to get ugly code word is.
So you will hear, yes, she's in a meeting in the boardroom. She shouldn't be too much longer. And he points that way. And she says, "Sir, you can't go in there. Please wait until after the meeting." And he just sort of gives her a dirty look, and then proceeds to walk towards the boardroom. To which, Atticus, you are standing in front of the door,
I am.
where you will, as he sort of approaches to you, that is when you sort of realise that he is Harkonnen adjacent. You don't recognise who he is, but he's walking towards the boardroom with purpose. He is probably going to be armed with a knife, a blade, at his hip.
This could
So
be
I
bad.
know we had this discussion before, but I don't recall. Do we have personal communication ability?
I'm going to
Can
say
I
yes.
Can I actually call the crew and say, this is him and he's coming?
You will, but that won't help Tennyson at all, because he's in the
that's not the case. Yeah.
he's in the anti-magic field.
It would likely be up to Atticus to interrupt the meeting if someone were going to.
But the door's locked from the inside, so we can't go in.
Right, but you could knock.
There's I actually have no idea how that's going to work. If they would even be able to hear it.
Well, there's got to be some way to get in contact with somebody inside a room like that if, for example, the building were to catch fire.
I have a receptionist, flip a switch on the desk that turns on a light in the room.
Or however that works.
That's what I figure they probably have.
If you guys have an idea, I'm open to saying that is the current narrative, that there is some sort of alert or warning switch or something like that they can communicate into the boardroom.
Well, I sort
Yeah.
of figure that the house, frankly, probably doesn't like this dude because he's an asshole. So they probably do have the what is it?
That's
Lady
true.
Manua has a sort of make
Standing
sure
order.
that the red light comes on in here if I'm in a meeting and Asclan shows up.
All right. So there's the red warning light.
Right. Just inside the meeting room, like one of the lights, like a light above the door, turns from green to red to indicate, hey, there's an issue, or there's someone out here.
All right, so I'll get a perception roll from Anderson.
There's no eye there.
Sorry. Tansen. You will see a red indicator light come on that is above the main doors to the boardroom. And you will notice that Lady Tanielu will have also seen this, and while she's been like really nice and flirty and smiley and pretty and everything, she suddenly becomes serious.
My intuition is telling me that that infers an end to our meeting on a rather unfortunate note.
Yeah, you didn't get a happy ending. Neither did she.
Wow.
She will secure
I didn't
the
say what the happy ending was.
contract that you had signed. I'm assuming that you signed.
Yeah, I would have signed.
She will secure that contract, placing it into a secure location in the desk, presses a button, desk opens up. She secures it there, and then the desk closes. And she will tell you, my husband is here, or my betrothed is here. Your fiance?
I guess fiance would still be correct.
Yeah, my fiance is here. So, Atticus, this guy is walking up to the doors with purpose. He does not have a blade or anything like that out, but he is armed with a blade. He is in like his business outfit, so he's not wearing armor, but it's quite possible that his clothing could be, ballistic clothing concealed as,
Like mine.
or armor concealed as clothing. Either way, it would be light. It would have the light modification on it, because it's obviously not armor. It doesn't. So he approaches. What does Atticus do?
He is standing there, watching the guy approach, and as I'm presuming, dude is not. He's not, drawing back or anything. So the murder math starts playing in his head. Which, if this guy is trained, he may recognize.
So the guy will walk with purpose, and once he sort of notices you basically stand a little bit more attentive, your chest starts to puff out a bit, muscles tense, he will slow his approach and he'll stop a couple of yards from you, and he'll say, who are you?
What is the proper response for that? I'm wondering if you just straight up state the name.
Do you have a title, I wonder?
No, I don't see why I would.
And you might.
Yes, your formal title would be, Atticus, sworn protector of Tannis and Danann, heir to House Danann. Oh, sorry, heir to House Danann.
Yeah, something like that.
Whether you want to say that or not is up to you, though.
I suppose it's probably useful for all of us to figure that out at some point.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking they don't ever do that sort of thing with any of the other characters. Uh, yeah, I suspect it's probably just going to be, simply, I am Atticus.
You can actually give me a reaction roll. If you have any
Yeah,
bonuses that might be appropriate here, then you can certainly add those.
I don't think I do because, well, he doesn't look like he has empathy, so yeah, it's just going to be straight. Yeah, that's one of those where I just realized, oh, how do I not have intimidation? Ha! Sweet.
So you will see that your response obviously was not adequate for him, and he will say, well, Atticus, for your own good, step aside. I wish to see my wife. And he uses the term wife, even though you know that they're only betrothed.
I cannot do that until my lord has given me permission to do so.
And who is your lord? You do realize who you are speaking to here.
My lord is Danann, heir to the House Tanielu. Here on business.
All right. Can I get someone to roll a universe reaction roll into the box, please?
What's in the box?
We'll get who hasn't done a roll. Tycho.
I was going to say you should probably pick somebody who's been rolling really high lately.
Does let's see.
Honestly, we're probably in something resembling a uniform, I think, right?
I would expect this.
So,
I would expect this to be in some kind of livery.
Yeah, so like
or a badge
whatever
or
our
something.
sigil is, or whatever our sigil. Our sigil is probably on the uniform. I just don't know where. Like if it's like over the breast or over one of the arms.
How did they do it in the new movie with the Atreides?
I'm trying to remember. I think they do have the uniform. Yeah, they do have a uniform.
Well, I'm thinking different versions. It's going to depend on
So
whether they're.
I guess you would have a particular style that is across the board. So while maybe not a uniform, the look of your attire might indicate some sort of association. So he will say, I've never heard of you. And he'll say, I am Benedict Hasselvander of House Hasselvander. You should step aside if you know what's good for you.
I've never heard of you.
And you can see that that rubs him the wrong way. Clearly, it's a slight towards him, and
Come to pick a fight.
Well, hey, he just slighted my house too, and I'm a fanatic.
So, his eyes narrow, and you can see that he's sort of sizing you up. Just as this happens, the door behind you unlocks and opens, and Lady Tanielu steps out. And I guess, Tennyson, you will follow?
I will, yes.
She will sort of curtsy and nod to Benedict. He doesn't return the gesture. And she says, my lord, I did not expect you. Kendrick. I'm not following.
You don't remember in Generica where everybody kept pronouncing Sir Kenrick as Kendrick?
Oh, yeah. Oh, am I saying Tennyson all the time? Tanson.
It's because you're in Australia and everything's upside down.
Could be.
And the weather's backwards.
He says, I have received word that you have been on Kaitain for 2 days now. Why am I only meeting you now? And she says, quite calmly, trying to de-escalate the situation, she says, I have been very busy taking care of business.
If I was a smart ass, I would have said, I have an idea.
Does Hansen interfere at all, or he just lets this unfold?
He'll sorry, weird email from work came up.
Likely excuse.
This time it's actually the truth. He will say something along the lines of shoot, what was the fruit that they
Space pineapple.
it was, yeah, I insert the correct name into where I say space pineapple, but the Lady Tanielu had requested House Danann's assistance in some farming expertise and how to improve yields among their space pineapple crop, and we were simply coming to terms with what such a deal might include were it to be enacted.
You will notice that Lady Tanielu looks at Hansen with a I'm impressed. Nice misdirect there. Good save. And you get the feeling that you may have just got her off the hook. And so the uniforms are different-ish. At least Thufa's outfit's different.
Yeah.
Right, but it's still a uniform. Now, I would tend to expect that maybe House Danann is not quite so militarized, but they would probably still have some kind of livery.
So he will then, you can almost feel the tension drop a little bit as, actually, I should get you to make a roll for that.
He goes like, I was hoping you're going to forget that.
Yeah, I don't have fast talk anymore.
Diplomacy
Well,
would work because
I-
it
No,
is.
I dropped fast talk since that was within Tycho's domain, so I dumped more into diplomacy.
What are the rest of you doing at this point too? And that's Tycho and Valtieri. So you have seen this guy come in and walk up to the boardroom.
Staying out of the way and staring in abject horror.
At my
Tycho,
lack of personal skills.
Tycho would have walked up behind Benedict and just propped himself up against the wall behind him.
Like how close behind?
Not too close, but close enough that he could react if he saw Benedict pull a knife or something. He could get right in there.
Oh, if that happened, unfortunately, we're going to need to chop up another body.
So Tycho is in a ready state in a way. He is observing, and if anything untoward was to happen, he would react.
Okay, so are you going to try and do this stealthily so that he doesn't notice?
I did. I rolled a stealth 16, success by 2. I rolled it earlier.
So rather than like gleaning, you could be like examining some of the pictures, quote unquote.
Yeah. Looking
right.
at the pictures, whatever.
It would appear that Benedict is far too focused on what's going on in front of him than to notice you sort of get a little bit closer.
Probably reasonable.
And Benedict will say to Tansen, "Is that a fact? How is it exactly that your house can assist my wife? My wife's business endeavors?"
Well, I am not. I myself am not one of our farming experts who are well trained in irrigation techniques and crop and planting techniques. However, this is merely a high-level discussion going over what such a statement of work's scope might include, and what your wife-to-be's objectives and interests would be in terms of crop yields and uh, some data around current crop yields, then so that we can find the difference between the two and how we might best achieving your wife to be's objective.
So you dazzle him with agricultural jargon. Nice.
He now requires a reaction roll or a diplomacy roll.
I can take diplomacy. I can work with that.
So you can use diplomacy for a good reaction.
Oh no! Wait, hang on.
Luck it.
Wait. Yep, that's luck.
Yeah, that is not a good time for that.
Before you do, roll, because diplomacy, if it fails, you get your normal reaction. So I'll let you roll your normal reaction before you decide whether you're going to use your luck.
Okay, well, You
I
can't
think
get
I
any better
still-
than good on diplomacy, right?
I think on a critical success, you get very good on influence rolls.
Would that also apply to margin crit, or is it just straight crit?
Margin crits. Yeah.
Okay, then I think I will go ahead and
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
since you're going to use it, yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
All right. So use your luck.
It's so weird. I just keep seeing the
Huh.
dice act funny.
Yeah, I see that too.
Okay.
I think
yeah.
that's
So like it freezes up right
Uh-huh.
before it's done.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
noticed that
just the
too.
Unity that does that. It's a little clunky
Bad
on the
unit.
dice.
Bad.
Or it could be my dodgy internet connection.
Well, I would think the dice rolling would be handled client side.
Right, but it still has to negotiate with the server to get the dice result.
You needed to roll 1 point less on that second roll.
No, there must be something that goes on, because there's been plenty of times where everyone sees the dice that's going to land on like a 1, but it just rolls over to a 6, and everyone sees that. So there must be some synchronizing going on.
Well, I'm just going to blame it on your hotel.
Yeah, I blame everything on my hotel. It's shit. I want to get back to my house. I'm done.
I would too.
It's been nearly 3 months. It's ridiculous. But anyway. So, that's not quite a margin crit. Even though it was a really good roll.
Alas.
Oh, right, yeah, because you have to roll a 5 or
6.
6 for that to work. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just 16 by 10.
No.
Ah. Oh well, it's done. I'll take the 6. That's my 11.
You see that sort of defuses him quite a bit. And he sort of forgets about, Atticus defying him and such. And he says, so you are project managers of a sort. And you think you can help my wife to be, since you clarified it as such. He says wife to be. Increase their profits and yields. Perhaps your services could help my house.
Now, having done the research ahead of time, what is their house actually doing?
They are spice miners
So exclusively spice.
as their primary domain, yes.
Do we know what their secondary domain is?
Assholes.
They manufacture those, by the way.
Let's see. With the research role Valtieri did before, I guess it was a succeed by 8, so you probably know some of their secondary dealings. And you would know that they develop machinery for the purpose of spice mining and
Right.
production.
Stand to reason.
So they can build things like harvesters, silos, separators, and all that sort of
So
stuff.
Tansen would know this information ahead of time, so we would have related to him. Therefore, he would know that our farming expertise would not necessarily help with spice mining.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I would expect that.
I think your expertise probably would.
I think there is sort of an element of farming to it. I'm sure we would have dug into that at some point, just from a house perspective, trying to maximize our potential.
harvesters, harvest spice from the sand in a similar way that a harvester would harvest wheat or corn.
So then this might be an end for us to get in good favor with House Hasselvander too.
I think I already ruined that.
No, you didn't. He
Maybe.
diffused the situation.
Hansen seems to have diffused the situation.
So surely we would have had some discussions in the past, at the very least, about the possibility of getting involved in the spice trade. So
So what would be the
Tonson
angle here?
should
Would
have
you
some,
basically go give him like the equivalent of a card and say contact our people and we can set up a meeting?
I will
Question
get.
mark?
I will get an intelligence analysis roll, or you have like a current affairs, business or politics or something to that effect.
who do you want for this?
Anyone that has those skills.
Shoot, I don't.
I'm assuming that
What do you
Valtteri
prefer
and
more?
Tycho are
Do you
near
want
enough to sort of
more
hear the
current
conversation.
affairs?
Uh-huh.
Do you want more of current affairs, or do you want more of the intelligence out? No, which one do you want
Yeah.
most?
Which one is more
Which one's
appropriate?
probably the current affairs?
Which one was it?
The current affairs.
Yeah, which version was it? Good God. Was it politics or
Politics or
business?
business. Business is probably more appropriate. That they could semi-default off each other.
Well, if I kind of default off politics, then it'd be success by 5. Or success by 4.
Okay, so those of you that succeed that roll, it would occur to you that it is a somewhat odd request, because with the change of House Harkonnen,
Right. He's not going to be there anymore.
there's a time frame in which ancillary houses have to either wind down their operations or apply for new mining rights with the Atreides.
Swap allegiance.
So it's not likely, depending on politics and such, it's not likely that they're going to be around for long, or they're in the process of winding down because they have to evacuate, or they are, or they should be at least in talks with the Atreides to keep their thing going.
So based on his statement, could I get the impression that body language or something that he's serious about this, that maybe this is he's really looking long term, like he's going to be back there again, like he's confident in that he could use our help?
I don't think you'd get that. Or give me a body language roll in the box anyway, and I guess a detect lies might be appropriate here. I don't know what the equivalent of the D&D insight skill check would be for GURPS. I think it probably there's a few skills.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So I'll say detect lies. It's probably the.
Oh, that I do have.
Now, if you
The
go
pro-
by
most
the if you go by the social engineering, if you
In the
do
box.
if you do the body language first, and it succeeds, and you can get the +3 on the detect lies.
Okay, so is there anyone doing body language and detect lies? Tycho.
think he did both. I suppose I'll go ahead and do that myself just in case.
Yeah, I suppose I'll do body language, but I'm just mostly watching the dude to see if he does anything
Yours
dumb
is-
so I can stab him.
Yours is combat body language.
Exactly. Murder math.
Atticus, you're fairly confident that there's not going to be any murder taking place at the moment. Things have switched gears a little bit. All right, so those that are observing that have body language and detect lies rolls, so that would be all of you. Wow, we are a suspicious bunch. Don't trust people much.
We're espionage
No, we
guys,
really don't.
right?
We are kind of focused in that regard.
I don't think I have detect lies.
So you will get
No, I don't have detect lies. I just got body language because it didn't make sense.
you'll get the feeling that he is legitimately interested. You know, maybe you can make him some more money. So by association, you guess that he probably feels that he's going to be there longer term, at least long enough to make it worthwhile to perhaps employ services such as yourselves.
I think I'll respond to his question by saying, well, it would most certainly be an endeavor, or an interesting endeavor. I'm sure you'd agree that spice is a very unique substance, and while some of our tools and techniques may indeed be of use to increasing production of the spice melange, our family does not currently have as much experience with it as we'd prefer before contracting our services out. And so once the transition is complete and House Atreides takes over the fiefdom of Arrakis, and our family is in place to begin working with this unique and valuable substance, and then perhaps after some additional time, then we'd be able to better offer a more complete service package to potential clients.
He says, I would be interested to speak with you in future then. And those of you that have body language, you will then realize that he sort of withdraws a little bit, like, maybe I shouldn't talk too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should grab him and interrogate him to death.
That's
He's-
actually a thought. We are fanatics. Let me see if my bloodlust doesn't arise.
Just to be a buddy fucker here, I wonder what his body language skill is, because he might detect that Thompson is leaning a little too close.
Buddy's only half the word.
I
Which-
give Tansen a significant look, like, yes, can I?
Wait, what kind of significant look?
Secret lover.
A secret look to see if he could give me the go ahead.
He
What?
didn't say anything about mimosas.
So you're doing the knife across the throat gesture. Secretly, of course. So what is Hanson's reaction to Tanielu, Lady Tanielu? Is he attracted to her? Is he interested? Is he like maybe a little bit more than professional?
I think yes, at the current point, not 100% certain or committed to any particular course of action, but
You think
He's
more
she's
than
pretty
professional,
for
yes.
someone who's not a redhead?
he's been wondering
Effectively.
how he could yoink the marriage contract out from under him as well.
And yeah, not definitely was not thinking of sending the not now, maybe later signal to Taika. It'd be an absolute shame if you were to stop coming to public events because he doesn't exist anymore.
He then turns his attention back to his wife-to-be and says, a little bit more calm, he says, well, it would have been nice to be informed of your return. Perhaps we can discuss this more over dinner tonight. And then she will sort of nod and bow and say, of course, my lord. It would be my pleasure. And those of you that can read body language realize, unlike with Anderson, where her reactions were not an act, her reaction to him appears to be more show than sincerity. But she's clearly good at what she does.
Say no more.
And she says, I'll be there. At which point Benedict will sort of give the rest, or give you guys a sort of once-over glance, turn and walk away. He'll take a few steps, then turn back. And he says, perhaps you can invite your new friends. And he looks to Hansen. He says, Hansen Danann, was it? Would you care to join us for dinner this evening? Perhaps we can talk some more business. I am interested in what you do.
We would be honored if you would join us.
And
Sure, that would be.
which means you don't have to be
most
impulsive.
enjoyable. Yeah, I don't have to be, but.
All right, so you say yes.
Yes.
All right. When you say yes, everyone will sort of notice Lady Tanielu look at Tansen and go, what? She gives him that, what the fuck look? And then she says, yes, please, join us.
That would be lovely.
So Benedict then says, I will make the arrangements. And he then turns and walks out. He'll give a disapproving look to the receptionist that tried to stop him, but he'll continue out.
Somehow I don't think his security department is going to be so considerate.
Once he leaves, Lady Tanielu will look at Hansen and say, are you sure?
Danger is my middle name.
What better way to avoid suspicion than by embracing him openly, even as distasteful as that is?
Well, you haven't really tasted him yet.
Nor do I intend to.
She looks a little concerned and says, he may look into who you are.
I fully expect that he will.
He will then learn your association with his liege's hated enemy.
Well, to be fair, if he wants to continue mining spice, he may need to buddy up to Atreides.
Very true.
Unless they're up to something.
Or
I
they
think
may
he's harkening
decide
in mind.
our,
He's always up to something.
or they may decide our expertise in farming is enough to try to pull us away from House Atreides as a vassal and steal us away from them.
Or maybe he's just trying to kill Todson. I wonder if he's got a big balcony over a sort of cliff area.
Hey,
Ah.
then that means another Benedict corpse can go over the wall.
I'm Atticus. Did he seem like a Sardaukar to you?
Not a Sardaukar, no, my lord.
Then I think we'll be just fine.
He's probably had a degree of martial training, but not to the... at first look, Atticus, you think that you could beat him.
Well, Atticus probably thinks that about a lot of people.
Well, now that he's like smashed a Sardaukar in one hit, then he probably thinks that about everyone.
No, he's not overconfident.
Tansen is, though. So he definitely thinks that Atticus can take on just about anyone.
All right, well, you can see that Lady Tanielu is a little bit nervous of this, but it is what it is now.
But Todson seems very confident. Chicks dig that.
All right, so is there anything in particular that you wish to speak to her about?
Nothing beyond what's already been discussed or that I'm willing to discuss outside of a noise field. So I will thank her for her time, bid her a good day, and I am looking forward to seeing at least half of the host tonight.
My lord, question. This might be a good time to actually see about formal farming contracts with House Tanielu.
Might as well draw something up.
Well, Tycho, if you wish to pursue that, I'm Lady Tanielu. If there's someone you have in mind on your crop side who might be willing to sit and discuss with Tycho these techniques, then
That way, this will help with the story and may actually be profitable in the long run for both our houses.
So she will then say, indeed, we can arrange for some work orders and contracts to be signed. And then she'll put one of her staffers on the job, and they'll take you away and I guess talk business.
Yep, talk business, farming, administration.
All right, we can resolve that with an administration role if you've got it.
Can I use my farming expertise as a add-on?
Sure. Complementary skill, so roll that first.
So what you need to do, Paul, is do what Carrie used to do.
And every time you use a skill, you put an asterisk by it. And see if by the end of the campaign you can't have one by every skill on your list.
Oh, in other words, if I use the skill,
Yeah.
I wonder if it'd be good to add something to the character sheet.
That
As
could be interesting.
like a little checkbox. Used it.
You know, I think what I would probably do is something on the skill page, when you pull it up, you push the button and just put like a number of times used or something like that, just for fun.
It's possible to do. I know the BRP rule set. Because it has similar rules, that you can only increase skills that you've used. So it actually has an interface for it. I wonder if it would work or would be worthwhile adding to our character sheets. Anywho. Alright, so you will get the ball rolling on some legitimate actual business dealings with House Tanielu to investigate their operations and see how you can improve stuff for them.
and as I'm doing this, I'm going to be listening and looking for any sensitive documentation or whatever that I could just, from memory relay back to our House Danann. So maybe intelligence analysis role or something like that to pick up on anything that may be of critical nature.
All right, so you want to learn about their business. So this is
Learn a little bit more
stuff
about their business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. Intelligence analysis seems an appropriate skill there. Make a roll. All right. So you could safely say that while you're going over some of their practices, and this is going to take hours, so likely the rest of the group will leave you there to do your thing while they take off.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
all right, so you'll gather dirt on Tanielu. Yeah, not actual dirt, but you're gathering intel on them.
well, it could be actual dirt.
It could be both. But you gather intel that might be sold to another house at some point for some reason.
So Valtteri has intuition. And I would like to roll my intuition. And if I get that gut feeling that we should not be going to this meeting, I will pass that along to Townsend.
So from memory, you're at a penalty for each option.
Number of choices. Which is just 2 in this case.
There's no bonuses or anything like that to the roll, so it's only the penalty. So -2 penalty.
Let's see. Make a secret IQ roll. Bonus equal to number of good choices. Penalty equal to the number of bad choices. So it would probably even out in this case. Yeah, that looks like it.
All right, so put forward the choices.
As far as I know is just go and don't go.
Alright, so they're your two choices. In this case, your gut tells you it's probably not a good idea.
Then I will share my instinct with my Lord Tonson.
I appreciate you forward, Valtteri, and I do value and appreciate your imp. And while this is definitely a risky course and to pursue, but I think it'll be, if played right, it'll be beneficial in the long run for the house.
Here's the
I'll be
thing
sure
is,
to say I told you so afterward.
I would expect nothing less.
thing is, I don't know if I actively report to Hanson though.
Well, what is your... What, you're a secret agent for who?
Well, I'm basically undercover spy for House Danann, so I'd be reporting to the spy master Dwar. And then he reports directly to the lady of the house. So ultimately I take orders from Dwar and the lady of the house.
So I guess in that case, it would depend on what your mission is for Dwar while working with Tonson, whether or not you're supposed to do whatever he wants or you have a separate mission.
So I just, before forwarding any intel along to the rest of the house, Tycho, make sure to send it to me first. I'm trying to figure out whether he would comply to that or not.
Well, there is no FTL communications, at least to my knowledge, in the Dune universe. So anything that you forward will have to be delivered in, transported there. So that information will probably come back with you if you come back.
Or get delivered to the corporate headquarters on House Kaitain, and eventually they send it as, tallies and stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually in a cryptographic miniature, so anybody seeing it just sees numbers. Oh, farming output was this and that, but it actually means this and this.
Yep, that's fair enough. I'm sure that you have means to, hide messages in mundane stuff.
So chiming in, I was AFK, but I could hear what's going on. I think Atticus is actually going to support Valtteri here and straight up saying, "This is a bad idea, my lord."
That's going to be 2 I told you so's.
Hanson, you are smart.
He's also impulsive, so it's not.
And overconfident. And curious.
But you controlled your impulse, so you don't have to be impulsive.
No, I know.
If we have to kill a bunch of people and hide their bodies again, that'll be a bad scenario.
Yeah, and I'm sure on Kaitain it'll be harder than it was on Caladan.
Yes, and your grandmother wanted you to not make any brash decisions. This seems ill-advised.
Well,
All
now
right,
he's agreed
fine,
to
fine.
it anyway.
Valtteri and Tycho draw up some excuse that would require our immediate attentions to be elsewhere. And if we can send a regretful cancellation note to Lord whatever his face.
Well, potentially, what
Hasselvander.
could with that is that as Tycho is doing the business dealings, he comes across something that we can work on right away that would be a good enough excuse for him to step away of Tansen's
Yeah,
head.
but I'm not sure if Tansen would be directly involved in that. Because that is more administrative stuff. I see what you're saying there, but I'm trying to figure out what do you do for the Lord to distract him, or not distract him, but ensure that he can't make it.
What was the plan after this? Dare I ask?
Well, since
Essentially,
Tycho wasn't in there, I can't perfectly recall what happened.
I'd say is contract was signed, and so it would be to enact it would be the next step, which I was thinking
Trying
would
to find a
involve
smuggler.
Lady Tanielu mentioned she was going to be setting up the smuggler, and within short order,
Right.
Tansen would probably have to start trying to reach out to Atreides contacts to begin the process of talking up House Tanielu for Arrakis-related spice efforts.
My thinking is that we get called away to go back home for some emergency reason.
And that's the reason you can't attend dinner, or you have to cancel.
Right. Like we got called away. We have to get on the next. We got to get on the next Highliner back. Because if we didn't have anything we actually had to do here, then we could get away with that.
I guess it depends on where the smuggler was. If the smuggler's on Arrakis, then that's gonna have to wait till we get to Arrakis.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the smuggler
I think
is.
that's what she said.
The smuggler is in hiding on Arrakis because.
Yeah, so they went to the Fremen.
So that
They were basically trying to silence the smugglers, or
Well,
get rid of any loose ends.
with that in mind, obtaining the smuggler is obviously the one of the higher options, but we still probably need to get back to Caladan, because if the stuff is instantaneous, we can do that. Get there, report in, say, yeah, we got to go to Arrakis. Which also brings me to mind, I'm presuming the lady also provided Tansen with a copy of that contract.
Yes. And the contract would be filed with CHOAM itself. So it would end up in the CHOAM archives.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we it's like, we regretfully we were called back, and then we rushed back home, we got to go there.
Yeah, just
Because
maybe Tansen as another angle to it is, we are called away on business. We do still want to have a sit down with you in the future. We just felt that, this business, fortunately, this business that we're attending to is critical in nature, but, yada, yada, yada. Let's meet at another time. That's more private.
like on Arrakis, where we gank your ass and leave you in the sand for the sandworms.
He might
Actually,
be
that's
a
a
good
very
guy.
good idea.
Nah.
Maybe Valtteri's gut was wrong.
That's true.
It could have been.
You're gonna totally find out, dude is just he's a arrogant asshole, but he's an okay guy, and Lady Manua is the evil one.
Who was involved in the destruction of a smuggler's enclave and stealing back the spice that they sold.
I mean, she did have a strip murder guy.
He is Harkonnen.
No,
Harkonnens cannot be trusted.
She wants to get in good with the Atreides so she can be at the palace and let the Harkonnen guy in so he can run his little assassin droid.
No, that guy was actually there for a really long time.
I think it was like a month or something he spent behind
Yeah,
the brick wall.
they bricked him up in the wall.
Oh. Well, then she might be the one to break him up.
Maybe she's
I
evil.
do think the worst of it.
No, our body language and everything has told us that she really likes dancing.
Or
Maybe she's really good
at it.
Well, we could definitely tell she's really good at it because we could see the definite change in her body attitude towards Tansen and Benedict. Benedict, it's like, I'm just playing along so you can like me. Tansen
She's
is
totally-
like,
She's totally a face dancer anyway. She's not even real.
Of course she is. Look how hot she is.
It's not natural.
It does seem awfully odd that a house whose primary domain is space pineapples is dabbling in spice as well.
Not that big of a size, actually. Everybody's dabbling in spice.
Well, they mix the spice with pineapple and they make space pineapple
Super
fritters.
space pineapple. There you
It's
go.
like Bitcoin. Everybody wants to be in on Bitcoin.
So yeah, that's what I'd recommend is, extend apologies. Something came up that required us to return. And like Paul said, say we still would really like to meet with you at some point to discuss some stuff. Regrettably, that will not be tonight.
Frankly, it's not untrue. I mean, they're a spice mining outfit, and we would very much like to be able to pick their brains.
Or take it over.
Eh.
And then my recommendation would be to return to Caladan to report in, and then get permission to go to Arrakis to track down the smuggler.
Which brings up the question, what is House Danann's interest? Do they want to dabble in the spice, or are they happy teaching people how to farm?
Everyone
Well-
wants to dabble in vice.
I mean,
Yep.
it's like we said. It's not untrue that there is a relationship between mining of the spice and farming in general, and the house could definitely benefit from being able to provide expertise to other companies doing mining.
Although we did determine that Lady Gwendolyn at least does not want to leave Caladan. She's quite happy, where she is. She doesn't want to brave the heat and harsh conditions. But that's
She
her.
doesn't need to go.
She can stay. Well, she'll stay.
Which means she'll soon be listening to Count Finring.
Mm.
All right, so you're going to trust Valtiri's gut, not attend the dinner invitation, and
Extend
exit.
apologies to both parties.
Yeah, Tansen will send the apology to Lord. He keeps cutting off his
Pathclown.
name. Yeah, I just want to make
Benedict.
fun of him. Hasselvander.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah. He'll send the apology to him and you know, fruity language, diplomacy words.
Fruity language.
Yeah. And but then he will, to Lady Tanielu's corporate office, send another bottle of wine, and using the, hopefully in the future this contract will work out for crop management, and
You also need to
So-
let her know that, not going to be attending, so she's not caught by surprise.
good point. Yeah. So, yep. Both Hasselvander and Tanya will get a note apologizing for not being able to make it, but then the wine will go to her corporate offices and wait
All
there.
right. You get the feeling that she's happy with that outcome, or feels at least more comfortable with it. So you guys will then depart, and your intention is to stick around for a little bit, or are you going to exit next available guild highliner?
I'm thinking we should just bail immediately.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Plays better, and we really need to probably take this info back to the boss anyway.
Further, if he has anyone competent doing research, he could confirm whether we departed or not.
In fact, it would probably be a good idea to plant some kind of communication calling us away.
Yeah, that's a good man.
Well, remember, they don't have computers. So all it is just writing up something saying, you need to come home now.
Mm-hmm. Should be easier.
Yes, you could abstract that with a tradecraft skill roll, to be able to set up something that at least looks legitimate. So who wishes to do that? It's probably a Tycho thing.
Hey, we're gonna have to do this in a relative hurry. But I'll let him have that.
All right, so Tycho, you will arrange a bogus communique that says you have to exit stage left, post haste, at least to cover your tracks. And the plan is to go back to Caladan, report in, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so part of the information post the meeting is a whole list of contacts and like challenge phrases and stuff like that to these contacts on Arrakis, and they will endeavor to put you in contact with the smuggler, and the smuggler will hopefully give you intels.
So say we all.
So you'll have that information with you, and I guess you will leave. You'll say your farewells at the corporate offices. You'll pass on the message to Lady Tanielu and Hasselvander, and send your wine or your gift for doing business. And Heiko, since you had been doing some stuff, you actually set up legitimate, a legitimate business arrangement between your house and House Tanielu to investigate their current productions and stuff like that, and see if you can find some efficiencies or methods for them to turn over greater profits.
Gonna do a consult.
Well, remember, that's how our house is supposed to, be. We're
Well, there's
farming experts. We use that
There's no
as
good
our,
reason not to do that anyway.
And
But underneath,
your
we're really
people-
good at espionage. We do farming first.
your people will actually be sending experts, I guess, to their operations, and they will be like brain blank advisors to their operations.
But if they're anything like me, they're also relaying information back.
And that is what you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to assume that the next step after reporting in is to head to Arrakis. That is what you want to do?
Unless the bosses say otherwise.
They're going to send us to X instead.
All right, since we are at time, that is a good place to leave it. So everyone will get their 2 points.
2 points.
Groovy.
And next session, you head to Arrakis. Dune, desert planet.
I imagine it's really hard not to do that.
Yeah. I suspect Attic is going to get along really well with the Fremen.
Mm-hmm.
Tycho will too. He's got cultural adaptability. He can adapt to the Fremen culture.
Well, the Fremen at this point aren't friendly to anyone, any off-worlders. So the Fremen are out for themselves. I think it's only post-Paul that they get on board.
Well, even post Paul, they don't really get on board per se. They do allow like House Atreides more involved, but they become even, I think, in a essence, more bloodthirsty because they really get organized and stop spice production.
He controls it, can just kill or destroy a thing.
I thought it
Alright,
was the other way
cool
around.
beans.
He who can destroy a thing can control a thing.
Yeah, whatever. I got an IQ of 10.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool beans.
Alrighty. Next week.
Don't have the script again.
How do
Daniel,
you not have this written?
I do have it written in other campaigns. I haven't imported it into this
Oh,
one.
you've been making it an internal note. Yeah, okay. No, I have mine on Google Docs, so
Give me the Google Docs link. Cut and paste.
Well,
into chat.
It's going to take me a minute.
what is it? If
But
you're
I have to
watching
go
this
find
and you
it.
have questions, complaints, gripes, concerns, etc., find us on YouTube or Discord. Thank you for watching. Olympus out. From memory.
That works. All right. Good night, stream.
Good night, stream.
Good.